Welcome to How to Find More Direct Clients Than You Can Poke a Stick At podcast, a mix of both solo episodes and expert interviews. Our ideal listener is an early career, ambitious, and passionate online language services provider. She is committed to professional growth and achieving success in the fiercely competitive translation and interpreting industry. She balances multiple responsibilities with resourcefulness, values mentorship, is open to learning, and investing in her professional development journey. She embraces technology and seeks to optimize workflow, eager to connect with like-minded peers and build out her professional network. She is determined to overcome challenges and become a sought-after freelance translator. And here's your host, medical translator and translator business mentor, Jason Willis-Lee.
So, welcome to How to Find More Direct Clients, a podcast hosted by myself, Jason Willis-Lee, the show that makes digital marketing easier and more fun using the perfect combination and just the right dose of business strategy and tech. I'm your host, Jason Willis-Lee, digital marketing specialist, and today I'm so thrilled to welcome Virginia Katsimpiri, my guest. Virginia has bags of experience in freelance translation and entrepreneurship, and she brings a very unique perspective to our discussion today. Virginia, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm so happy to be here. I'm always glad to discuss about business and our industry.
Thank you for accepting the invite. So can you tell us a bit, to start just as an icebreaker, about your journey in translation entrepreneurship and your unique vision for the future of the industry? How did you become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, great topic. We are entrepreneurs, even if I don't describe myself as one when I talk about me, even if I own a company, two companies currently, one for translation and one for coaching services. I started as a certified translator myself because I studied translation for 5 years. And, we discussed that privately a bit, that I studied also business administration, getting an MBA. After my studies, many years after I had already initiated my career as a freelance translator, later as a business owner. So academically, I would like also to gain some kind of skills that we weren't able to gain as translator or translation students or interpreting students myself. And currently, I'm also a PhD candidate student, also studying at an academic stage currently, also the factors affecting our entrepreneurial, activity as translators. So that's, my topic. So that is the academic background of, my entrepreneurial journey. When it comes to my career, I started, as I mentioned, as an in-house translator. Many people, maybe if they're following me online, they know my journey. And then I decided to leave my in-house position to become a freelancer working from home. Then one thing after the other, I initiated my own business. I found my office in the center of Athens. And since 2020, I have initiated my second online business, offering coaching to other colleagues who would like, to enhance their entrepreneurial skills and maybe build a profitable language business.
Let's talk about that first. I know you're very strong on LinkedIn, so let's talk about building a personal brand on LinkedIn. We're all personal brands these days. Mm-hmm. I'd like to explore ways in which professionals in the industry can use LinkedIn for lead generation and attract business opportunities. Could you give us 2 or 3 just very quick hacks without revealing all your secrets? Could you just give us a couple of hacks about lead gen, such as publishing thought leadership content, taking part in relevant discussions?
Let's take one per one, because I will forget, Jason. So you can ask me one per one the questions, so I can answer more practically. Even if I have my notes here. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go on. LinkedIn is such a hot topic recently, yes, especially in our industry. So thank you for bringing that up as a topic. I always like also to teach LinkedIn. I have also presented in associations like LEI. I gave a webinar for LSPs, language service providers, as companies, how to build a brand using LinkedIn. I have been teaching LinkedIn since I initiated my coaching business, because I've seen it's a very efficient way of actually getting clients. If someone would like to get clients in a more direct way, knowing their job title, their name, LinkedIn gives you all this information right away and for free. So that's why I decided to go for LinkedIn, because it brought results for my own business primarily. And then when I see results for me, I start teaching that. And also when I see results to the people I've been teaching this, then I'm happy also to start presenting that publicly, which I have been. And I assume the opportunity that you give me now is also for the program that I have at 3 months that focuses only on LinkedIn, how to build a brand, create a strategy, outbound, inbound, and also a sales funnel, and how to be able to get clients using LinkedIn. So thank you for asking me that. So your first question was?
Well, that was the question, how to build a strong personal brand on LinkedIn. So does your program concentrate on content thought leadership through content, posting free content? How do you teach a sales funnel, building a sales funnel?
That's a common misconception. When we talk about LinkedIn, most people, they're telling me, but Virginia, I don't want to be very visible, or I'm not that extrovert, or I don't know how to create content. But LinkedIn is not only about content creation or content marketing. Of course, content marketing is very powerful. Of course, I always include content marketing in my trainings, but I always say that you don't need to go that way if you don't feel that you are into content marketing, because content marketing is very time consuming. And also it takes time to see results, apart from the preparation that is needed, that you need a scheduling tool to start schedule your content, also strategically to know what content to create and how frequently to share that, so as to be able to attract the right audience. It also starts to bring you results. I don't know, maybe you know better than me because you are into that digital marketing yourself, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. In my case, in order to see results when it comes to content marketing, it takes at least 6 months to 1 year. And the second reason why I don't, let's say, focus on content marketing, even if I always integrate that to my trainings, is the fact that it's less controllable, like the results. For example, when I teach outbound marketing methods like LinkedIn prospecting, that's the name of the program, Ultimate LinkedIn Prospecting System, where I focus my trainings on, is the fact that you're able to control the results. So my mentees, they state in their testimonials or success stories, like by sending 9 portfolios in a targeted way to 9 clients, they were able to close 3 deals, for example. That's more or less something like 30% conversion rate, which is very, very good. You know that better than me. And also you can control, if you, let's say, practice that for a quite good time frame, like you will be able to know, if I contact that audience, in that numbers, I will be expecting that kind of results in terms of projects, income, and so on. Content marketing is less controllable. Like you won't be able to say, if I post 3 times per week or 5 times per week in that frequency, I will get that many projects or that kind of income. You agree? I see that you're noting. So
you're saying content marketing is less controllable than sending.
In terms of the results, especially if you're a newbie, especially when you start out. I'm not talking about a very big company that maybe they have a marketing, department inside that they might be able to control the results. If you're a freelancer or you just start out your content marketing strategy, it takes a lot of time to be able to control beforehand, the results to expect in terms of cash, and income. So that's why when I started out coaching other people and mentoring other colleagues to be able to get clients, I focused most on direct outreach and outbound client acquisition strategies. For those that might not be familiar with the terms, are those strategies where you make yourself visible in front of your clients by contacting them in a strategical way, instead of waiting them to find you through your content, which that is inbound. So I focus mostly on outbound marketing methods, because I think that it's faster for the people to get results. And that's what my mentees, they tell me through their success stories that you can find on my website or YouTube channel. They go and they publicly share such results, and that's amazing.
Okay. And you think 6 to 12 months for content marketing before people can see a tangible result? They have to do it for about a year before
the content marketing, you mean?
The content marketing.
For me, my approach, and that's why I always include content marketing in my trainings, that needs always to be, let's say, the best way to nurture the relationship with the audience. So since our main goal in my 3-month group coaching program is to get you results, I create a strategy for the people who join my program to be able to get tangible results, as you mentioned, by getting clients and paid projects through outbound marketing methods, by contacting the clients in a strategical way, non-salesy, non-pushing.
Yep.
And the last part, apart from automation, Sales Navigator, and AI tools that I teach so as to automate the process, is the content marketing, which in my case, the first step is to nurture the relation, since you have already expanded your network with your ideal clients, to be able to nurture that relationship with them through content marketing so as to be able to get ongoing results. But definitely it's in comparison to outbound marketing methods, more time consuming. I don't know if you agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, tell us about Sales Navigator. How can we leverage Sales Navigator? Because that's now €1,000 a year. It's not a cheap tool. How can we?
There are always ways you can get a better offer. I was lucky enough because I was using, let's say, the trial version, and I got an offer. So if you, let's say, use a trial version and LinkedIn gives you an offer, I would suggest you to grab that opportunity right away. And I think I have closed a deal of like €500 or something per year myself, 500 something. And I can recall right now, it's an annual membership that I get their subscription on LinkedIn, Sales Navigator myself. It's the version of the paid LinkedIn that I suggest to my mentees, the people who join my program, to go for, because it's the only one that is perfect for lead generation. For those who are not familiar with the term, is when we are trying to get some clients or potential people interested in our services to contact us, or we can contact them so as to start a natural conversation with them before they're ready to buy from us. So Sales Navigator is the only program that I would suggest for someone if they would like to go the paid version, because sometimes LinkedIn suggests you some, let's say, less expensive solutions. But if it's not for lead generation, I would suggest people to go for that. So, but also you can change that. So if you go for the wrong version of the paid LinkedIn, also you can contact LinkedIn sales and you can let them know that you actually purchased the wrong version so they can turn your profile to the right version. So you asked me about Sales Navigator. Yes, it's quite expensive in comparison to maybe other. It's not mandatory to have Sales Navigator. So in my program, I don't teach Sales Navigator as a mandatory way. So you don't need to make any extra investment in order to get results through LinkedIn. But for those who see it seriously, or for those who have used the free version of LinkedIn, they have become familiar and they have been getting results. The next step, if they would like to gain something extra from LinkedIn, is to go for the paid version. Only if they see LinkedIn as their marketing team experts. So you can use LinkedIn instead of hire someone to take over your marketing efforts. You can use Sales Navigator, so you will be in control of your marketing efforts and getting results right away. And of course, I assume you do the same. I have also virtual assistant who help me. But again, as a freelance translator working from home or someone starting out, is not mandatory, and you don't need to go that direction if you're not yet familiar with the free version of LinkedIn. But definitely is the next step for someone who would like to take the next step and they feel that they have taken as much as the free version has to give them.
Okay, so how do you envisage scaling out your translator programs, your 3-month LinkedIn program, for example, as the demand for skilled translation is still there, and I think it's rising despite all this AI Armageddon? How do you envisage scaling, and what opportunities do you see for aspiring translators in this digital era? Do you think that there is still a demand for highly skilled premium translators with a niching down, specializing, or do you think they will be completely overrun by the machines?
Because of AI, I think.
Yes, because of AI.
My approach to this topic, because I get so many people coming to me, they're afraid of AI, they're afraid they're going to lose their work or a part of their income, or the rates are going to be lower. And that doesn't apply to all of us. It really depends on your language combination and specialization. For example, Greek is a very small language, and I think it will be one of the least ones that are going to be affected, because even Google Translate nowadays is not that good to be used for our language combination. It's not like French English or Spanish English that you might get, let's say, some results that might be acceptable in some cases. So it really depends on that. And also, I assume that there are some less budget sensitive industries like medical or pharmaceutical that would be the let's say the least ones to choose AI so as to lower the cost, because they're not that budget sensitive. They focus on quality instead of getting something cheaper. So that's my advice for people, that definitely not panic, because I remember when I started studying translation, Jason, like that was 20 years ago, everyone was telling me, but Google Translator is going to get your work. You're not going to have work. And why you're going to study something which is going to disappear in a few years' time. And I'm still here 20 years later, and I'm still making six-figure income, and I'm still having a successful business, both translation coach. So I think sometimes we see the future coming faster than it actually does. And I would wait to see, okay, how this will progress in terms of our everyday life. Of course, it's here. Of course, it's a reality, AI, and of course, we're going to see new things coming, but how fast this will affect our everyday life, it really depends on the language combination and the actual specialization. If we're in the tech, let's say in a tech niche or not, which is going to be affected, I think, faster than other niches. And also, it depends if you work with direct clients, as you mentioned, because that's the topic of your podcast as well. If you work with direct clients or agencies, I think the agencies will integrate faster such tools so as to be able to minimize cost. Whereas if you work direct clients, I think that you will have enough clients that might not be aware, or might be they don't want to use it. So you will have enough space to not, if you don't want, integrate such technologies in your everyday life, if you don't want, of course.
You and I are very similar beasts. We're both translators. We both help colleagues through our coaching offers, and I think we have different approaches, which is great because we complement each other. Where do you see the future of translation entrepreneurship in the future, given the integration of AI tech? What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs coming into the industry, and where do you think the pressure points are to leverage and go upwards and just survive in the industry? I know you mentioned a couple of things there. I mean, I think for me it is very much niching down. I think you're absolutely right. I think there is a higher tolerance of prices in pharma, in medicine, in very particular niches. But I think I do find that colleagues are afraid of AI, and they're reluctant to skill up and just adapt and leverage these tools for productivity. And do you have anything to say in terms of productivity? We are affiliated with a company called BureauWorks, which is run out of California, an entrepreneur called Gabriel Fairman. And that is a very good productivity tool. It integrates with CAT tools. There was a wave of CAT tools in the early 2000s. I was part of that wave. I'm old enough to remember tools like Deja Vu, which went from...
I remember that as well, even if I haven't used that.
That was a big tool in the early 2000s. I was using that in 2001. I really couldn't see the text to translate. There were so many tags. So eventually we got rid of the tags, and we could... I mean, anything to say about productivity and how you yourself are productive? I mean, I know you have a busy schedule. How do you stay productive, and how do you stay on task, on point and on task?
Yeah, you mentioned too many topics. I would start with the ones that you mentioned, aspiring entrepreneurs who would like to get into the industry. And for me, that's very, if I can say, contradictory, because rarely we see aspiring entrepreneurs to get into our industry, because usually we're not trained that way as translators. Rarely freelance translators or interpreters who get into our industry, they have that entrepreneurial either mindset or training so as to be able to call themselves entrepreneurs. So that was very, for me, when I read your question, okay, that would be nice to deal with that, but rarely I see people with such kind of mindset or skills entering our industry. Those who are usually entrepreneurs and they would like to get into our industry rarely are also translators or interpreters. So either they are entrepreneurs who would like to create a company, but that doesn't mean that they translate at the same time, or they are linguists, translators, interpreters, localization experts, whatever, but rarely at the same time. There is a minority, let's say, so as not to be. It's a minority, the people that they have entrepreneurial skills and they would like to get into our industry as entrepreneurs. So that's at least my experience mentoring other people since 2016. So I would say already 8 years. I haven't seen that. I would be nice to change that in the future. More people with entrepreneurial skills to enter our industry with also linguistic background. And at the same time, you mentioned what to expect and how to enter the industry, and also how to leverage. Definitely, I wouldn't be afraid of technology or progress. We need always to be able, and if we call ourselves entrepreneurs, to envision the future and to be able to integrate that and take those our partners, technology, I mean, and tech progress instead of enemies. And to see how we can integrate such tools so as to take advantage in a positive way, so as to become more productive, as you mentioned, or to make more profit by become faster. I remember one of my mentees, they were translating pharmaceutical. It was quite repetitive. So CAT tools, that we were afraid of CAT tools when they enter our industry as well, they were able to make 6K per month because they were so repetitive, the text that they were translating, and CAT tools and a memory they had created really helped them to translate so fast so as to be able to make that kind of profitability for their own business. And by business, I call even freelance translators working from home as well. So that to cover the previous topic. And coming to your second question about productivity and how I try, definitely tools help with productivity. In our company, we've been testing several different BMS tools. Most freelance translators might not be aware of the term is business management tools instead of just CAT tools, which is computer assisted translation. The BMS tools, they help you to increase productivity, to be able to automate some processes. It really depends on the size of the company. The smaller you are, maybe the simpler tool that you can use, or the one that you feel more familiar with, might be the best way to go. As you grow, maybe you need to integrate a bit of more technology so as to be able to scale up, as you mentioned initially, and to be able to increase productivity.
Can you give us an example of a BMS tool that may be open to freelancers?
BMS are all the project management tools. Even Bureau Works, maybe they have a BMS tool. So I'm not that I haven't checked that as well.
Yeah.
But definitely we know as project management tools, the Protomos or XTRF or LSP Expert for, let's say, freelancers. Whereas Fluent for bigger companies. So there are endless, let's say the list goes. And I've been receiving also some offers for many new tools, to be honest, through my email. Even yesterday I received one, I haven't checked that yet, of a cloud-based tool. So I think all of those tools, their purpose is to increase productivity in your project management team. So,
okay, what specific entrepreneur? I mean, you and I are both, you're obviously a successful businesswoman. You said you make a 6-figure salary, which is great in today's market. What specific entrepreneurial skills do you think are necessary? I tend to focus on fairly obscure skills. I think I'm the only one teaching this kind of thing. I teach my people how to run a quiz, how to do a deep dive survey, how to do a signature quiz and talk to the audience, work out what the pain points are, and then adjust the offer to the pain points. So adjust the offer according to the data. I also teach people how to build a list. If they want to build a list, this is more towards the advanced end of the course. What specific skills, apart from those, would you say are lacking in freelance translators? Skills that you and I may consider, sort of, we take them for granted because we've gone into this consultancy space.
I wouldn't characterize the ones that you mentioned as skills. Most probably what they're using are processes that they can implement, or the techniques, yes. Like the lead generation or building an email list. Those are techniques that we can use. Maybe I dissatisfy you. Maybe you don't like my answer, but I think the skill that we're missing, and I've been focusing a lot in my mentoring programs, and that's why I call them mentoring or coaching programs and not courses, is the fact that we focus a lot on mindset. And what I've seen missing a lot in our industry is the fact that I previously mentioned as well, that we lack a lot of, let's say, entrepreneurial mindset or skills. And that comes, I think 80% that I've seen of people succeeding in our industry, or in general, even higher than 80%, what separates the best from the rest, or those that they are able to make it and those that are struggling, is their mindset and how they perceive things. And what I've seen in most colleagues that I've been helping with is that kind of negativity. Oh, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to contact my clients. I don't want to look rude. And what if the client? But most of the times, actually, the results surprise them positively. Most of the times when we do it the right way, the clients are very happy to be contacted, especially if you do it the right way, and especially if you have made the research beforehand to know that those clients, they really need your own services. So if you follow the right process, if you have a right strategy and you know that it works and you test it with your mentor or your coach, then you have nothing to be afraid of. So I think the mindset that we have as translators, because we lack that kind of entrepreneurial skill set, how to call that, is the fact that we feel that it's not the right way to go to implement, let's say, in outbound marketing. So as soon as we fight that, let's say we work on our mindset and we're able to change the way we've been thinking about our industry and growing hacks and techniques that we can implement in our business, then definitely that will work. It's 20% of the work to implement a strategy. And I think for me, 80% is to have the right mindset so as to be able to get into action.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The one thing I would say add to that is that the mindset is mainly around money. And I work with people whose money mindset is heavily influenced by, old former patterns, primary caregivers, and the kind
I can
of
talk for hours. I can talk for
about
hours.
money mindset. So
yeah, that the money is always connected with some kind of bad things will happen.
exactly.
You need to do bad things so as to be able to make money. And if they were able to make 6-figure or 1 million, like my coach has been making 1 million, they've been doing something wrong or something bad, which actually nowadays is not the reality. Of course, maybe the past years, the people who were making money, they were using other ways. But nowadays, with so much technology and coaching and trainings, people, they're able to make such kind of money by helping others. Like the opposite. Not only they're not doing something wrong, but actually they've been helping other people and they're able to make such kind of money. Like in my case, like other people that I have seen making such good money. So definitely, I agree with you. That's money mindset. But in general, I will take it a step further, entrepreneurial for other skills that they're missing, another entrepreneurial mindset that they need to build. But money is definitely the first one that we don't deserve. Or I remember one question of my mentee, Jason, that she told me, isn't it unethical to charge that high for translating a book? Unethical. She thought by charging what she had to charge in order to make a living, or a profit out of your business based on her per word, let's say, or whatever per page price rate that we had set for her own business model, that it was unethical to go and offer her services for that amount of money. And that definitely comes from what you mentioned. Like
money mindset, absolutely. Great. So let's finish that those section of questions. So final 5. I'll ask you some 5 fun questions. I'll do some fun questions. What would you rather have? Gills to breathe underwater or wings to fly?
I think wings to fly. That was very easy for me.
Wings to fly. Okay.
Even if I love swimming, being in Greece, yes, I always admire the birds.
You've got the islands. You're very close to the ocean. That's
I love it.
You're in a lovely location, which is great. What's one productivity tool or tip you can't live without? You mentioned the BMS, the business management systems. Would that be your productivity tool hack that you can give us? Or do you have another productivity secret that you can share?
Secret. Definitely the automation tools that I use in LinkedIn prospecting that I cannot disclose here has really saved me so much time than doing things manually.
Okay.
I couldn't live. I wouldn't have grown my business that fast if those weren't, and with no cost, because I had to hire, let's say, so many people in order to be able to reach the same results that an automation tool has helped me. But simple things in our everyday or weekly planning really have helped me to actually being more productive, like taking the Sunday night to, let's say, schedule my week ahead. Or creating daily lists with the things that I have to do, because imagine that I run 2 businesses, my translation business, my coaching business, and I currently also studying for my PhD. So I need to be very organized and committed to what I undertake every day, so as to be able to be, let's say, at least good at all of those things and to implement on a daily basis. So I don't know if I have answered your question, or people that were waiting a fancy tool or something.
That's a good answer. That's a perfectly adequate answer. What's the biggest myth that people believe when it comes to translator training? You provide training, coaching, so do I. What's the biggest myth do you think people have? Do you see misconceptions?
training like about translation, like the training we get at the university to become translators, or is the translator training that we, both of us are, let's say, doing, which actually affects their entrepreneurial skills and business activity?
I think the training that you and I give, that kind of training. What
Comes
kind of...
translator entrepreneurial training or business
Yes,
training,
exactly,
is that correct?
exactly.
Okay, what's the biggest myth people believe? That would be a good question to create a poll, maybe, Jason, after this podcast. You can create a poll just to ask our network what might be their first, let's say,
we can do a poll on LinkedIn, yes.
Yeah, and ask them what's the first thing that they think about a business. I think when I started coaching, and that specifically in countries where coaching was not that developed, like in the US, people are more welcome, let's say, more familiar with coaching. So it was easier for me to make visible to them the value of my trainings. It was more difficult to people that they were not familiar with coaching to understand the actual, and people, they think that it's a fake, that they are going to get their money and we're not going to get any results, that they are selling something that is not real. So they are trying, let's say, to sell something that doesn't exist, something fake. And I think that that's totally a myth, because I think our results are very practical, and that's why I'm so happy of having so many testimonial success stories on my YouTube channel and my website. Because people, they don't believe the results. So I think maybe a myth is the fact that we're not selling practical maybe results. I don't know, what would be your opinion on this? I would love to know if you know any myth around this yourself, Jason.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer, that people are skeptical about the results, so they come in with it. Again, it comes back to mindset. If you approach any coaching offer, you have to go in with a PMA, positive mental attitude, and that's the first thing I talk to people about: goal setting. The goals have to be realistic. I mean, I've had people, come in saying, I want to double my income, my gross revenue in a year. I mean, that's a big goal, to double. I have had people come in who are finding they're charging half of what they could and should be charging, so they're undercharging. And that is something I found. In terms of, promising double gross revenue in a year, I certainly make no promises like that, because I think those promises are difficult to keep. What I give people are tools and strategies to get that kind of result themselves, maybe over a longer time. But certainly skepticism and what you said about the results is definitely a good answer. What's the best business advice you've ever received? What's the best business advice you've ever received from a mentor, from a teacher, an educator? You've done a lot of training.
Yeah, I really like something that I also have been sharing with my mentees, and it's something I keep reminding myself every day.
Yep.
The silent people buy. I don't know if you know that as well. It's something that I keep telling people when they're starting their marketing campaign or any other campaign, and they believe that no one is listening to them in the beginning. I can tell you guys, people are listening, even if they're not reacting with your content. There are out there people who are listening to you, even if you don't see that through maybe the engagement, the reaction, liking, commenting, and so on. So if you're starting sharing content on what you do, keep doing that. And the best advice I was given, and actually it proves to be right, I've seen that happening, the silent people buy, those that they might not be interacting with your content, might be silent listening to what you do, those that might be listening to you every day, or every time that you post, or every day that you go live. And I'm always surprised when people, they're coming to me, they're telling me, I heard that, let's say, joke that you mentioned yesterday in between, and maybe my live was 1 hour. And I was also surprised, like, were you there? And did you listen, let's say, in 1 hour live or 2 hours live, the joke? So people, they pay attention and they are listening to you, even if you think that you're alone there and no one's listening, or maybe your audience is small. And definitely the silent people buy. So definitely don't underestimate the audience that you have, even if your ideal clients, and that comes to also your translation company, maybe they don't react to your content, or maybe they are not that communicative with you online. That doesn't mean they're not going to buy from you. And also an example with translation service, because people might be listening to us as translators. I remember running my prospecting campaign, contacting people that they maybe didn't respond directly, or maybe didn't buy initially. They came back 3 months later with a paid project right away, and they told me, I would like you to do this. So maybe the fact that they don't reply to you, or maybe they don't buy right away, doesn't mean that they won't come back to you with a paid project the moment or the timing arrives that they have a project for you. And that's a great advice I got, and I am always trying to remind that to other people.
What's using one word, just one word, how would you describe AI in one word? I know you're not a fan
So your
of AI.
question, I was a bit skeptical also on this question. I'm not that into AI myself, but definitely it's reality. It has come and it's here. Okay, so
realistic. That would be the word. All right. So do you have any final thoughts or takeaways you'd like to share with our audience? What's the final notable nugget that you can give our audience, something to take away, maybe a quick plug and play strategy or tip?
I would like to share something I actually learned about recently. It was the ELIS, I think, survey that they actually published the results of the European language industry survey that at least I think that it takes place once a year, if I'm not mistaken. And the result was like 48% of the respondents were independent translators and intérpretes, that's how they call them. The audience mentioned that the upcoming year, okay, so if the survey maybe took place in 2023, that's why, maybe in 2024, 48% of the respondents mentioned that they are going to get more direct clients, that they are turning into getting more direct clients.
Yep.
So since it's our topic for today in your podcast, that would be for me something to reflect on, and the reason why maybe it's also the AI, the fact that we mentioned that if you go for direct clients, maybe AI comes later. So you will be able to keep charging your worth there without being that affected by AI and lowering the rates from other agencies. That's good food for thought as well. And definitely, if someone would ask me what's the best way to get clients and direct clients, in my MBA dissertation, I had a survey on this, and the most efficient way, when I asked translators from all over the world what was the most efficient way to get direct clients, they mentioned the word of mouth referrals, and the third one was networking. So the traditional ways of getting clients are never underestimated. If you would like to be in control of how you get those clients and your results, I would focus on LinkedIn and email marketing, because that's what I've been teaching. But always there are other ways, and I have a training like 7 different client acquisition strategies, even more, that you can implement as a language professional if you would like to keep growing financially.
Okay, where can listeners connect with you to find out more about you and your work? Where is the best place to connect? LinkedIn, Instagram?
Yeah, definitely, you can find me on LinkedIn. I have 10,000 followers there. My content, and I have a lot of content publicly and for free on my YouTube channel, and of course on my website, vmentoring.com, if they would like to go through any free material before they contact me. Definitely, yes. If they would like to connect with me on any social media, they can find me. I'm always open to connect with people.
Great. Okay, well, let's wrap it up for today's episode of How to Find More Direct Clients. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions with captivating guests on the ever-evolving landscape of language and digital marketing. Until next time, stay on your game, and remember to future-proof your career in the age of AI and skill up. Bye for now. Stay on your game.
Here's a fun fact about Jason. You know, as a kid, Jason was heavily into magic, juggling, and ventriloquism. Thanks for tuning in to the How to Find More Direct Clients Than You Can Poke a Stick At podcast. We'll be back soon. In the meantime, why not head over to www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com to access all our tools and resources to monetize and future-proof your freelance translation business. And don't forget to hit the plus button in Apple Podcasts or iTunes, or subscribe in Spotify to be notified when new episodes drop. For regular tips and insights, business strategy, or marketing techniques straight to your inbox, please sign up at www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com.